Boom shakalaka, Bitcoin is testing two major support zones at the exact same time. We just tagged the CVDD and ETF flows are leading price. Historically, this is where macro bottoms form. But here's the scary part. We haven't seen full capitulation yet. Is $49,000 the final bottom, or is the real shakeout still coming? You need to see this. Stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, scary times for Bitcoin. We are testing two major support zones at the exact same time, and we could be headed lower. Is 49,000 the bottom, or will there be a final capitulation panic that sends prices even lower? Before we get into it, like the video, join us on Twitter with Crypto Love, and of course subscribe to the OG Bitcoin and Crypto YouTube channel, making videos longer than practically everybody else. This one. Now, today, if we take a look, Bitcoin is testing two major support zones at the same time. Number one, the ascending trend line that marked the bottom of the 2021 cycle and the current cycle, which is right here. Number two, the horizontal support zone derived from the 2021 all-time high, $69,000, my favorite number. Bitcoin's been hanging around there. Well, if we take a look, you can see both of these zones. Should Bitcoin break through to the bottom, that might be tragic, but it could possibly happen. You definitely want to see some of this stuff. If we take a look historically, the bottom forms when the red line of market sentiment peaks. We're still pretty early. Now, I should say there is a complete flip of market sentiment, at least from my end, what I'm looking at. Nowadays, every single Twitter post is predicting the Bitcoin bottom. Shift back, I don't even know, like 4 to 6 months, and everybody was predicting the top price. So things have shifted dramatically, but according to this market sentiment plot, we have not reached that absolute inflection point yet where the sky is falling and everybody's panic selling. So maybe there could be further downside to go. Based on the net unrealized profit and loss, they have these colored zones. Right now, we are in the orange to yellow, optimism shifting to hope and fear. Sitting in the yellow fear section when history is suggesting the bear market bottoms during the red capitulation events. So based on the NUPL and capitulation territory of that, we would still have further down to go. And I don't think we've had that complete panic selling type of thing where people think we're at the bottom and then all of a sudden price drops out and Bitcoin price cuts in half. That's happened at least the last two times I've been in Bitcoin. So the last two cycles I've been in Bitcoin. So we'll see if, par for the course happen a third time. Now, if we take a look, the realized price and short-term holder floor price have crossed. You can see this right here with the gray circle. This happened also in June of 2022. This happened also back here in sometime in 2018. Also happened back here in 2014. Now, if you will note, every single time after this happened, price continued downwards. So this could be an indicator saying, hey, price may continue downward from here. Now, over the long run, price does go upward from there. But in the short term, price does go downward. It might be in for that 50% or roughly somewhere in that territory price cut. A number that I've been talking about for a long time, $45,000, now is in ballpark territory for a lot of these other people saying it. Bitcoin has never formed a macro bottom without interacting with the CVDD, the cumulative value coin days destroyed. We've already tagged the shifted CVDD here in purple, but the blue one is sitting at $49,000, and that would be the next one. And take a look. Every single previous cycle tagged this bottom. So, is it just inevitable? Are we headed down to $49,000? Is my $45,000 price prediction going to be correct? Well, here's a brief reminder. Bitcoin usually bottoms between the EMA200 and the SMMA230. You can see these lines right here. The blue is EMA200. The red is SMMA230. You can see with the FTX crash, the COVID crash, the Bitfinex flash crash, all those things wick down to the SMMA230. Now, the SMMA230 is the last line of defense. This happened 3 times so far in 10 years, and each time it took a black swan events for Bitcoin to retrace that far. So it may not be normal capitulation. It may just be some type of crazy event that causes massive market fluctuations, that causes people to panic sell, that causes a whole bunch of shorts or longs to be liquidated. And all of a sudden, all of that causes the price to absolutely crash. Now, each bottom in the past 10 years happened between these two moving averages. Where are they right now? Well, $45,000, exactly where I've been talking about, and $69,000, my favorite price. So it's almost like I'm manipulating these Bitcoin prices just so that it happens between the number that I said I was going to go down to and my favorite number on Earth. I mean, it's possible, but unlikely that I'm able to manipulate price that well. But that being said, we are on the upper bound right now. The lower bound is less than half down from where we are, which overall looks good. And generally, Bitcoin does not spend too much time in this range. Now, when it's in that range, between a few months and a year, it's brutal, it's terrible, it sucks. It's best off to just go back to McDonald's, start working again, and paying attention to other stuff. But it is massive accumulation territory for Bitcoin. So if you are still in Bitcoin, if you still do have funds to flow, now is the time when it's best to buy Bitcoin, because guess what? When things turn around, these are the best times to have bought because your money X's many times from there. So if we take a look, we are having a nice divergence coming up. You can see these historic divergences right down here with these purple lines. We have the CM Williams VIX fix and the Bitcoin price. Now, this is the Bitcoin weekly. Historically, periods with multiple green bars in a row have marked the best accumulation zones for Bitcoin. What was I just saying? Man, it's like I make this stuff up. Now, in each case, they were preceded by a divergence. Prices made lower lows, which is this going down, the red arrows, while the indicator moved higher, this green arrow right here. The indicator just printed a green bar again. Take a look at that. For the first time since March 2023, way back here, this could be one of the best buy opportunities for Bitcoin. This is something for people paying attention. Yes, people are panicking. We have no idea how low it'll go. But this is the beginning of best buying territory for Bitcoin, because this is when generational wealth is made, not when it's approaching new all-time highs. Timothy Peterson throwing his hat in the ring, saying the 13-week trailing ETF fund flows have been leading Bitcoin price since July of 2025. You can see this down here, Bitcoin price in black and the ETF net fund flows in sky blue. As a sentiment indicator, this metric is roughly $60,000, suggesting that maybe $60,000 is where things stop and turn around as long as they don't continue going down from there. But you can see pretty nice correlation, at least visually, on those charts. And Bitcoin doesn't like to spend a lot of time below production cost. You can see that production cost here, the electrical cost in red, this was the 2022 bottom. This was also the 2018 bottom. Right now, sitting about $60,000. So maybe we don't actually have to go all the way down to $49,000 or $45,000. Maybe I'm not manipulating the whole entire market just to make prices do exactly what I want to do. Maybe price will stop at the Bitcoin electrical cost of $60,000 before taking off. And when we take a look at correlation with precious metals, we have the copper gold cycle right here, looking like maybe we're approaching support. And guess what? Look what Bitcoin does after it finds support. Bitcoin waits until the copper-gold ratio finds support and then takes off in a massive way. So could all of this, maybe we don't even go down at all from here. Maybe it's just all moon territory from here. But again, hard to predict the future. And I think when we need a rational brain to come in and talk about this, that's where Colin Talks Crypto really thrives. If you haven't checked out his indicator, cbbi.info, definitely worthwhile to check out how close we are to the cycle top. But he says Bitcoin has been in a bear market since October 6th of 2025. Guess what? 4 months already. Now, the typical bear market from top to bottom has been 1 year. Yes, exactly 1 year. Interesting, right? Here back in 2018, 2019. Here in 2022, 1 year exactly. So that being said, my crazy simple math, 1 year minus 4 months, that means 8 months left. That would mean we're already 35% through if the pattern holds. Pretty cool. A third of the way through. That means we only have 2/3 left of the bear market and then it'll be over. The good news is that would mean we've already been pretty far along time-wise. most people realize it late. My total guess for the price range at the bottom is somewhere between $32,000 and $60,000, with $49,000 being my guess if you had to pick a single number instead of a range. Guess what? It looks like everybody's in that price territory, $45,000. But hey, we have no idea because nothing, the market loves to stay crazy longer than people can stay solvent, and who knows what's going to happen. Things change every single year. These are just guesses based on numbers. Now, the one downside to this being 35% through, if we take a look, yes, we're a third of the way through. But take a look at the other ones when we were a third of the way through. We still did not have final panic capitulation. So that being said, there could be some final panic capitulation down to, who knows, maybe even, $35,000, 50% price cut from here. Because in both of these scenarios, there was a 50% price cut. Right now, that would be roughly $35,000 based on my elementary math in the back of my head, back of the notebook, back of the napkin, which brings us to this one little thing because I always like to leave you with a happy ending. Bitcoin rainbow price chart. Now, while this does take a look at Bitcoin price, and while it does have basically a fire sale price somewhere between $39,000 and $51,000, coincidentally averaging at $45,000. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. But while it does have that for basically a fire sale, where Bitcoin has touched every single cycle, so it's almost inevitable it's going to touch that territory. While it does happen, it does predict in 2026, which is this year, $150,000 to $440,000 for Bitcoin. So maybe, just maybe, things will be taking off by the end of the year. And because that would already been a year since the October to October of this year, bear market, maybe things will turn around very fast at the end of this year, but that's a big maybe. Everybody's hoping. We'll kind of see what happens. Anyways, that's all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, like the video, subscribe to this channel, the oldest one out there. Not just because I'm old, but because the channel's been around longer than all the other channels. And of course, check out some of our shorts. I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.
Boom, shakalaka.
If you don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million a coin and then $10 million a coin, you're already a loser.
From now on, if you don't own Bitcoin, you're a moron.